Nerve and I were just talking about that we should watch. There's some streamer drama on the interwebs. I almost want to feel bad for this man. But good lord, he is something. He is something, and I think Moist Critical explains it really well. So yeah, I think we'll give it a gander. But if you guys didn't know, there's some Twitter drama going on,
right
and
now,
so
there's a Twitch streamer getting tomatoes thrown at him all across Twitter for a clip that's going viral of him having an embarrassing and horrible response to one of his community members answering a question that he asked them.
In Spanish, and it's chef's kiss. All right. Curvy, where the fuck have you been? Oh my god, we'll tell you what, Miss Dirty Curvy, you know what we're not?
I want to read this. Like, I want to, okay, nah, it's been horrible, lol. And, you know, yeah, so she just said nah, and like to something else. It's been horrible, and then LOL or whatever.
We're not gonna talk about it in my chat. Because it's Friday. And that is a whole big bucket of bummer.
Back to serious business, excuse me.
Big barrel of butt cheeks. So to give context...
wait, that was... Why did I pause there? Moist Critical. You know, the key humor to my soul. Let's get an instant replay on that.
Bucket of bummer.
And his response is a big barrel of butt cheeks. So to give context to this situation here on the lore... this was a regular viewer of this streamer, an avid supporter who had taken a bit of a hiatus and was unfortunately going through a very hard time with her mother passing. So, when he saw that she was back, he asked her, "Oh, where have you been?" To which she just answered honestly, her mother had passed away, so, you know, it was a bit of a tough time. That's why she was taking a break. And then for some reason, this must have input a cheat code into the streamer's brain that just sent him into, like,
the best commentary. I just realized this book in the back of his room. You guys can't see it, but it just says "man poop." This man is the key to my my humor heart.
He, for some reason, then just goes into like this TED talk about how you shouldn't answer if your answer is something sad because it brings down the vibes of the stream. It's baffling because you had asked her and she just answered your question honestly. I'll play a bit more of the clip before getting into it, but I want to make it clear early on that I understand a lot of streamers have a similar perspective where you don't really want someone in chat that's just talking about like a really traumatic experience they're going through because it's not really the place for it and the streamer's not the therapist.
Yeah.
Like, I do get that perspective, but there's a difference between...
There's a difference between being like, yeah, today is not a good day. I had this horrible thing happen, and everybody bands together and be like, let's lift you up and hopefully have a better day, right?
And you asking someone a question and them answering honestly, especially when it's a member of the community that you already kind of know to a certain...
Also, yes, if a brand new viewer comes in and they're like, hey, blah, and you're just like, okay. So, for instance, I don't go into a streamer's chat and say, my health is terrible, right? That I've never met. But then, like, the other day, I didn't want to, like, talk about it too much, but, like, genuinely... Like, Demile was asking me how my health was. I told her I lost my hair, blah, 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 right? And then, like, she genuinely was curious because we have that connection, right? I wouldn't just go and then, like, tell about something that's kind of heavy, right? In someone else's chat. But there's, like, a little bit of connection. We want to know about each other because you care.
And I'm sorry for your loss, but we're not doing that in my fucking chat.
Ah! The F word. Okay, I got a little pissy last night, and I'm not super proud of it. People came in my chat, and we're doing the booba thing, and I did get a little heated. That was not the best take for me in a joyous time. And I was like, dude, that's fucking rude, right? That was a harsh take. That was a harsh take. But this man, I'm sorry for your loss, but we're not fucking doing it. That is just...
the community that you already kind of know to a certain level. I don't understand why you're all of a sudden getting mad at them for answering
at all.
Thank you. Well, okay, Miss Dirty Curvy, you said, no, that's fine. You asked, so I told. No, I didn't.
You did ask.
No, I didn't ask you to tell me the biggest fucking bummer news in the world. You know what? Let me give you a little bit of a lesson, Miss Nerdy Curvy.
No! Dude, I'm getting amped over this. I can feel my heart going like... It just irritates me. It raises my blood pressure. Okay, so you're like, here is where I teach teach you how to be the perfect level of perfection in society because I am the overlord streamer and I am your father and I know best. You must treat me like a god. Like
when something really, really bad is going on in your life and in a public forum, someone asks you, hey, what's up? How are you? There are two acceptable responses. Good and, you know what? I'll make it through. That's it.
No. I don't know about you guys. I just was in a streamer talk this morning, put on by Twitch. It was the general consensus amongst all these other partner streamers that having realistic and meaningful relationships with your chat is life-changing. I understand because our whole image as a community is positivity, right? Like we are hardcore positivity addicts here, okay? Like to a fault maybe. And so I get it because it is personal, it is hard, like and I get it, okay? But this reaction is not it. This reaction, no. You don't ask people how they're doing and expect like a freaking robot to answer you. I would love for all of you guys to be flourishing every day and happy and great and for us all to be just amazing. But that's not life. We have to have this back and forth flow to even experience the best of emotions. And so like I get it, but like if you're trying to have a relationship with your community, you can't expect them to, especially someone who's like you knew well enough to be like, hey, you haven't been around, where have you been? Like the lack of compassion. Anyway, sorry. 2.5 minutes through. I'm sorry.
So you want to just talk to NPCs that only have 2 dialogue options?
Yes. Moist critical. That's
then
exactly
why
what he
bother
wants.
Trying to communicate with a human being?
Yeah.
Like, okay, give them a script. Make sure your community has the acceptable answer script to my stupid questions.
You have to audition to be a part of the audience to make sure you have the right answers.
I don't actually care where you've been. Like, just tell me one of these 2 canned responses. Like, this is so fucking dumb. And I also love the audacity. Let me give you a lesson here.
So while he's talking about this, I was thinking about what our interactions with people do to our mental space and what it does to us socially. Okay, here's the thing. So all of us who have been bullied or had these negative things, we end up like crawling into like a little ball, right? Like because we've been socially put down, you know, at least I have. And Twitch is something that's been really freeing. And I don't, some of you guys might not know this story, but I only started streaming about 3.5 years ago. I actually tried out Twitch back in 2016, 2015, somewhere in there. And there was an artist that I just absolutely loved, a digital artist. And I wasn't super knowledgeable about streaming softwares. I wasn't knowledgeable about like how to stream. I had no idea what the first thing to even do to screen capture, to be able to upload a YouTube video or something like that, right? Like I had no idea about it, and I was watching this stream, and I remember there was like this huge thing, like disclaimer, you know, when you click on the chat bar and it says like to read the rules. So I scrolled down, and there's like the longest strip of like several Word document pages long of like rules and questions that have already been answered. I wanted to ask how they did it, and I read through all of it. I didn't see it. I read through it like twice. And so I'm like so nervous. I never talk to anybody on the internet. And I work up the courage of my favorite artist to ask them how they screen capture, only to get fucking berated about how stupid I am, how disrespectful I am, and how much time they spend over and over and over answering this question. And I am just such a disrespectful person for how dare I just take their time for granted and not properly read through all of the prior answered questions and do my due diligence before I dare speak in their chat. And I was And then I never used Twitch again for like 3 years. Like, I was so humiliated. It was like the most soul crushing thing for like someone I looked up to just like berate me for being dumb in their chat. And now I look back at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, what? Oh my gosh, like that was such a ridiculous. So OBS, just get OBS. There you go. Easy. but yeah, how you treat people, it affects them. I literally didn't pick Twitch back up for 3 years. I refused to talk in Twitch chats. I was too scared.
It's just so laughable that he's acting like some kind of social savant here about how to handle public conversations and what you're allowed to say. You're a fucking Twitch streamer, man. All of us as streamers are not exactly the most socially gifted. Like, let's just face the facts here. So why are you trying to act like the authority on the matter here, as if you're some kind of social guru who's now giving a lecture to your community about what is and is not allowed in a public conversation? It's fucking goofy. Yeah. It's very silly.
I love when he calls stuff goofy and silly. It's my favorite. I love it.
You could have had some level of empathy and just given, like, a general decent response, like, damn.
Again, letting the negative thing flow, right? Like, it comes, we accept it, and we move on from it.
I was sorry to hear that. Stay strong. And then just go about, like, a good vibe stream. Like, it's super easy.
Yeah, continue on.
I asked you where you were. Look, Mr. Curvy.
Oh, I asked you where you were. Let me give you a lecture. When somebody asks you how you been, you say, I'm good.
Unloading really heavy news in people's chats on Twitch is not like good etiquette. Heavy news like that, when someone asks, hey, where have you been? You don't need to tell them, well, my dog died, my husband left me for a younger woman, my house burnt down, and my car got stolen. So I've been a little bit busy. That's why I haven't been around. Because it's like,
what a freaking joke! That escalated so quickly. You know, I'm sorry. I am such an avid viewer, but I'm sorry I haven't been here because one of my dear family members died. My dog died. Your car got stolen. Your house burned down. Everything you know and love is gone. Like
oh God, like
oh, emotion, life.
God, your bad news is making my easy job just a little stressful, because now I've heard your fucking bad news. Like, ugh. Like, can you have some level of shame? Can you stop having bad things happen to you and then share it with me when I ask? Like, fuck. God, where do you get off? What a stupid perspective, bro. What are you talking about? That's not even what they did.
What a response! Like, oh. I'm just like, yeah, my brain is like, it can't comprehend that people like this exist.
You didn't try and, like, keep pressing it further or anything. For some reason, he did. He took it and ran with it and made it an overwhelmingly negative thing and then shamed her publicly in front of the entire community for it. Which is so fucking weird and terrible thing to do.
Also,
now, like I said in the very beginning,
if you don't want to dwell on it, don't dwell on it.
Do you understand the perspective of not wanting your community to treat it like it's like a therapy session where they're dropping really heavy things going on in their personal lives into the Twitch chat or asking you to solve the problems for them? I do agree that that is just not the time nor the place, and that's not going to help the person either. That's
no, and we do have to draw that line. This is an escape from your life, right? So whatever horrible things that are going on in everybody's life, this is their one escape. They don't have to think about it, and then boom, it snaps them into reality. And I get that, but you know, we're all human. To completely not just be a caring and considering moment in somebody's time of need, just a little bit, it's just irresponsible and downright mean.
Just be like, I had a bunch of shit going on, so I've been lying low for a little while. Got it.
Isn't that the same response? I had a bunch of shit going on, so I haven't been around. I've been lying low. What the fuck is the difference between saying, like, her being a little bit more concise or being like, yeah, man, shit really hit the fan, and so I had to dip out for a while. Like, what?
Buddy, that is kind of exactly what she did, but instead of just saying, I've got some shit that I'm going through, so I was lying low, she said, well, family member passed away, so I was lying low. That's it. She didn't continue to, like, go through the...
Exactly! Exactly like! Same response, although he's saying this in the moment, if the chatter had said, I had some bad stuff going on, I've been lying low, most of the time the streamer's gonna follow up with a question about what did it... Thank you. Thank you. You know, a round of applause for you. I need the applause button. Like exactly. If somebody's... So in this exact situation, had it been replayed in the exact same way, if they had just said, had some shit hit the fan, and they'd be like, I'm sorry, are you okay? What's been going on? And he never would have responded this way. But since he said, hey, where have you been? And they're like, hey, yeah, I'm sorry, my mom died. He's like, like, what? The lack of, like, empathy is just unreal.
Before getting to his response, I want to hit you with a bucket of cold water to shock you with some statistics here. 93% of all Twitch streamers pull less than 5 viewers. So anything more than...
This is true. This is true. It's actually a staggering number.
These are old numbers too. These are from 2021, so I imagine this has only grown. So why am I bringing this up? Well, because the streamer who right now is catching more tomatoes than the goddamn Heinz ketchup factory is not a huge streamer.
Where does he come
At least
up
not
with
by
it?
most people on Twitter's definition of a big
I
streamer.
don't think he writes scripts for these. This man's brain is just the epitome of just the, like, roast. I mean, oh.
Has around 55 average viewers, and to put that in perspective, that does put him in the top 1% of Twitch, at least based on the numbers I'm seeing. The mentality around numbers is so, like, they can't recognize how big of a number 55 average viewers is. Like, yes, it's not the biggest streamers on Twitch, but that's still a pretty large number.
What's unfortunate is I've talked about this before. I really struggle to network or make friends with other streamers who are over 20 average, under maybe like 200, like that area, because they're like this. Like, not all of them, but you wouldn't... I feel like I could see this coming from somebody who has like 1,000 viewers, you know, or 500 or 300 or whatever. But it's just so baffling to me that somebody who, like, maybe you're decent size, perhaps you're making a living, but you haven't made it yet. You're working on it. But you have by no means, like, cracked the key to success. It's baffling. Like, that demographic to me, like, what I've seen, like, over 20 average, under 200, like, that sweet spot right there. The amount of egos is just astronomical to me. I just don't get it. I am so humbled by the people who support me, and the opportunity and the love and our community, and how it cherishes each other and everything. And it just, how do these people exist? How do they get popular?
His first response was this on Twitter, where he...
In response to Nerdy Curvy, my reaction to the news she shared in chat while I was live, my apologies to her. That was a cunty react. He's very, I swear a lot, but he's very vulgar. He's shockingly vulgar. Reaction: I shouldn't have been such a douche. I was just annoyed from the repeated trauma dumping that had been happening that week. My mistake. He's very concise, to the point. It's a little bit of a so-so apology, but he definitely was triggered by something that had happened previously, and at least he, you know, talks about it. But just wait, Chad, there's more.
He's just taking full responsibility for being an asshole, which I guess is fine. Like,
I want to
he's
know
just
what
saying,
his
yeah,
name
this was
is.
a real piece of shit here. But then 12 hours later, he made an apology video and doubled down on everything from his initial
I know
Twitter
someone
clip.
who retweeted. I can find it.
Firstly, it is well known in my channel that I do not tolerate heavy news, drama, or trauma dumping, if you will, being entered or dropped into the chat. This is not the first time that she's violated the expectation that people not share heavy news in my channel. The frustration from having her argue in chat that she was, quote, just answering my question, even though she's been spoken to about this type of thing before.
I feel like if you're gonna take this take, I would like to know what previously happened. Not to, like, dox her, or, like, dump on her, but if you're gonna, maybe this is a bad take on my part, but if he's gonna be like, yo, well, I've told her a lot of times that she wasn't supposed to do this, and she did it again. Like, I would like to know what
He
happened.
is literally just justifying his
Yeah.
reaction and saying it's all.
Why did he apologize just to make this video? Like, he's obviously like grumbling about it and like smoldering about it and like being grumpy, and it's like, why?
Her fault. She violated our expectation of her in chat.
Apologize,
and
get
said
over
she has
it.
a history of doing it. And in her statement, one of her Twitlongers, she clarifies a bit deeper on what he's talking about. And he's pretty misleading with the way he portrays what happened here. Again, you asked her a question, she answered it. So the quote, "I was just answering your question," is very accurate.
She didn't violate anything by answering a question that he asked her. It's like, do you have to walk eggshells and like the streamer's gonna constantly ask you questions that'll get you banned? Like, that's really odd. I feel like for him to take this stance and for me to have sympathy, he needs to explain what's been going on. He needs to like actually be like, this week this happened and this happened, and like, you don't have to out certain people, but you could just explain like something horrific happened, because I feel like for him to have such a just egregious like response, like something obviously just set him off. But like, I think he needs to take some pause, realize what the difference between the situation that obviously is really angering him and this, and genuinely apologize if you do mean it. What if we learn, chat? Don't be a stinky. Don't be a poop head. Be nice to people. And remember to have a level head when you react to things, because maybe you didn't mean it that way, but they might be misconstrued in a way you had not intended. And also be gracious and grateful for the people who support you, and understand that everybody's human and not everybody's perfect, including him. But the fact that he had a day to think about it and doubled down on it, I hope he learns from that. It's just like, whew. That kind of thing, it makes me cringe so hard.